In Africa, most of us build businesses that rise and fall on our shoulders. We hustle harder, we work longer hours, and let's be honest, if we don't show up, nothing really moves. But the truth is, a business that only works when you are present is not really a business. It's just a job that you have created for yourself. I almost fell into that trap myself when I was 27, managing a retail and service business with 5 branches. I was the bottleneck in the business, the go-to guy for everything. Employees came to me for direction, customers wanted me to approve decisions, and even suppliers couldn't move without my input. The whole operation depended on me. And whenever I stepped away, everything slowed down. And that's when I discovered one thing that completely changed everything for me. Once I mastered it, I gained back my time, my mental space, and even had the freedom to start my second business while still running the first one. And in this video, I'm going to share with you that one thing that made the biggest difference in my journey. And more importantly, how you can implement it in your own business. Now, let me be clear. It is not about sales. It is not about marketing. And it is not even about operations. The real game changer is simply understanding how to set clear expectations. Because when you know how to set expectations and exactly where to set them, you stop being the bottleneck in your business. You stop being the person everyone depends on for every little decision. And instead, you start leading a team that can think, act, and solve problems without waiting on you. So whether you're a business owner, a manager, or even if you just have 1 or 2 people working with you, then this video is for you. If you want your business to grow without constantly depending on you, there are 4 levels of expectations you need to set. And once you master them, 2 things are going to happen. 1, you will regain back your time and peace of mind. 2, and finally, you will start building a business that can run consistently and grow sustainably without chaining you down 24/7. The first level of expectation every business owner must set are core values. Behind every successful business, there are core values, and this is exactly where you should start. Now, most African business owners skip this part because they think having core values are just big company talks for corporations like MTN or Dangote. But here is the truth. Your core values are the foundation of your business. They define how your team behave, how they treat your customers, and even how decisions are made when you are not around. This is so important because if you lead only with rules, you create followers, people who just wait for instructions. But if you lead with values, you will build leaders, people who can think and make the right decision even when you are not around. That's how you stop being the bottleneck in your business and start building a business that can actually grow without depending on you every single day. So let me give you a real life example of what this looks like. At AMGR8 Service Centre, our core values are 1, fast beats free. We don't try to be the cheapest. We win by being the fastest and most reliable in the marketplace. Number 2, excellence in action. Work isn't just about making money, but it is how we show our excellence to our world. And finally, number 3, we tell the truth even when it is hard, because that simple honesty can help improve someone's life, their experience, or even their outcome. Having strong values like this gives your team members a decision-making framework. Instead of running to you for every little decision, they have a compass to guide them, even in situations you never directly discussed with them. That is the power of leading with value. It reduces your stress, empower your team, and create consistency in your business, whether you are present or not. The second level of expectation you need to set if you want to grow your business fast is your brand promise. Think of your brand promise as a strategic metric. It is how you align your internal core values, mission, and vision to what your customers are actually going to see, feel, and experience. Your brand promise tells your customers exactly what to expect from you, not just in terms of products or services, but in terms of results and experience as they interact with your business. Let me give you an example to drive this home. At AMGR8 Service Centre, our brand promise is revive your connection fast or get your phone fixed in 1 hour or less. This brand promise reflects one of our core values of fast beats free. But more importantly, it gives the customer something clear and specific to expect every time they do business with us. And here is the truth. When customers can experience your brand promise consistently, it builds trust. And in Africa, trust is a currency. A strong brand promise sets a standard, forces your team to live up to it, and makes your business stand out even in a crowded marketplace. The third level of expectation you need to set in your business is departmental KPIs. Now, what exactly is departmental KPI? KPI simply stands for key performance indicators. In plain English, it's just the metric or a scale you use to measure how well a specific department is performing. It is how you track whether things are actually getting done and getting done right. Now, this is where most business owners miss it. You can have core values and brand promise, but if you don't measure performance, it's just talk or words on paper. So, how do you make sure your team is walking the talk? This is where your departmental KPI comes in. Let me give you another example to make this practical. At AMGR8 Service Centre, one of our core values is fast, beat free. This core value then turned into our brand promise of get your phone fixed in 1 hour or less. Now, the question is, how do we track whether we are actually delivering on that promise or not? So, to answer that question, we created a departmental KPI in the operations and delivery department to track two things. One, how many phone repairs were completed and collected within 1 hour? And two, how many repairs took longer than 1 hour to complete? But if you are running an online shop, yours might look a bit different. For example, if your core value is, let's say, speed is king, and your brand promise is maybe 6 hours fast delivery, your KPI for the customer service department could be how many orders or inquiries were responded to within 5 minutes. I hope you can see how this works. So, your core value should drive your brand promise, and your departmental KPI is how you track if your team members are actually delivering on that promise in their day-to-day activity. Because without clear departmental KPI in place, there is no way of knowing if your team is putting your core values into action. And there is no way of holding anyone accountable to the promises your business is making to your customers. The fourth and final level of expectation you need to set for your business is what I call role expectation. Role expectation is simply your departmental KPIs, but broken down and tied to a specific role within that department. It is how you measure individual performance and not just the overall team performance. Here is the idea. If you have already set your departmental KPI, that means you have already defined what success looks like for that department. And now you need to define what success looks like for each role or person in that department. Let me show you with real life example from AMGR8 Service Centre. One of our core value, fast, be free, which translates into our brand promise of revive your connection fast or get your phone fixed in 1 hour or less. This brand promise then turned to our departmental key performance indicator of what percentage of phones were fixed and collected by their customers within 1 hour. And finally, breaks down into a role expectation within that department of each repair technician is expected to complete 80% of their repairs, like screen replacement, charging system, switch, etc., within 1 hour. Hope you can see how this flows. Your core values drives your brand promise, and your departmental KPI is how you measure how well a specific department is performing. And finally, your role expectation is how you define what success looks like for each role or person within that department. Because it is easy to measure how well a department is performing as a whole. But if you want to improve the individual performance, you need to look in deeper into the individual unit that makes up the whole department. And again, this is where most business owners miss it, because oftentimes improving performance doesn't require massive effort. It just means identifying who on the team isn't meeting the benchmark and why. But for most business owners, they can't really do this because they will simply say to their team members, do your work well, without defining what doing your work well actually means for that specific role. And so everyone will create their own definition, and that is where the confusion, excuses, and underperformances starts. So when you set clear role expectation, you give both yourself and your team members a performance scoreboard so that everyone knows where they stand, what is expected of them, and where they need to improve. This also makes it easier to coach, to hold people accountable, and to improve the performance without stress. Because here is the truth. Lack of clear expectations leads to assumption, and assumption leads to unmet goal. Expectations are the unsaid rules of engagement. They are non-negotiable, agreed upon norms, and behaviors that everyone agrees upon, but oftentimes are non-verbalized or well explained by the business owners. So, these 4 levels of expectation will free you from being the bottleneck in your business, allow your team members to take ownership of their role, and finally, give you the freedom and space to even start a new venture. So, the next time you feel like your business can't run without you, remember this, that it is not about hustling or working harder. It's about building systems and setting clear expectations.